Happy lunch hour, guys. Okay, I'm gonna give you this as something to concern yourself with and pay attention to. A lot of you guys have told me about, and I've noticed it too. You start looking at the ingredients on your food that you're buying, and they're starting to specifically label out, oh, it's got cricket flour in it, or, bioengineered something or whatever. We all know that. So, what are you eating? Important. The next thing I want to get into, now this all comes to a head in one topic, guys, trust me. You know, if you look around the world, there are plenty of places that are, you don't touch it. It's sacred ground, okay? I mean, whether or not it is battlefields from the Revolutionary War or burial grounds from World War II or anything like that. Or, in the United States, we get a lot of uh, sacred ground, if you will, for, Indian burial grounds, Native American Indian grounds. Okay. And I mean, just here in Tennessee, I mean, we had 7 different tribes that colonized Tennessee. I mean, the Muskogee, the Yuchi, the Chickasaw, Choctaw, Cherokee, Shawnee, and Seneca Indians. And there's burial grounds all over this state that are, you don't do anything there. Okay. This is sacred ground. That goes into play in every state, every country. There's always something like that. So let me ask you this. Would you ever consider planting a garden, tomatoes, vegetables, cucumbers, peppers, whatever, in a cemetery? Probably not. Okay. Again, it's sacred ground. That's somebody's great grandmother, that's somebody's grandpa, mom and dad. God forbid, maybe somebody had to bury their kids. I mean, we know that happens. Okay. You're certainly not going to have a cemetery plot and go, hey, cool, here's where grandma is buried. Let's grow tomatoes right next to it. Yeah. All right. So, California, you got to love Gavin Newsom. All right. They passed the Cemetery and Funeral Act, AB 351, which I will link to below so you can read this for yourself. It's long. I will warn you if you want to go read it. Okay? Need something to go to sleep at night, this would be it. That allows for the composting of grandma to be put in the garden. That gets worse. Now, California is by far not the first state to do this, all right? States of Oregon, Washington, Colorado, and Vermont already allow human compost, or humans to be composted, okay? The difference is with the California law, it doesn't prohibit companies from putting grandma into a bag of compost and selling it to you at Home Depot, all right? SF Gate, all right, which is online, you can go look this up. SF Gate did an expose on this here, saying that it does not forbid the sale of composted human remains or the use of the soil in which they have been put into for growing fruit and vegetables for human consumption. If you are in California and you ever buy a bag of soil, I would really suggest looking at what it is, okay? You are definitely going to be susceptible to planting your gardens in composted human remains. You think I'm kidding, okay? This is exactly, like I said, I'll link this below. This is exactly what Section 3031, subsection 7010.8 says. I'm going to read it verbatim. Integrate into the soil means the authorized addition and mixing of reduced human remains with existing soil in a defined area within a dedicated cemetery, conservation area, property where the person who has control over the disposition of the reduced human remains has obtained written permission of the property owner or governing agency or other area in the state where integration is permitted. Okay? Like I said, like SF Gates said, it does not prohibit the use of this in your garden to be sold at Home Depot, Lowe's, the local co-op, ag store, whatever it would be. Sure, they can't directly put it in without your permission, but if they put it on the bag and you don't notice, you've given permission, okay? You purchased that under your own free will. Personally, and y'all know I compost, okay? I'm not composting human remains. Not even in an SHTF situation, okay? I'll dispose of them appropriately, however I decide, but I'm certainly not going to put them in my garden, all right? That's, you start thinking about all the stuff that's in your garden. You hear all these organic gardeners. You can't use pesticides. You can't use chemical fertilizers that have been put in your garden, yada, 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 right? We've all heard that, okay? And again, I'm going to go back to Grazon for an example. Y'all know what Grazon is. It's that weed killer that even after a cow eats the grass or whatever it is, it's still pertinent in your compost. If you compost the manure and everything like that, it'd still kill your plants, right? Yeah, let's think of all the chemicals that people put in their bodies. And I'm not talking about fentanyl and cocaine and stuff like that. I'm talking about, I don't know, the medicines that you're on, okay? Or the preservatives that are in the food that you eat. All that stuff's in your body, guys. And whether or not how well it decomposes, I can't tell you, all right? I am not, or how it's processed by your body. I am not a scientist by any means in that. But let's just think about this. Okay, so one of the reasons they're doing this, Democratic Assembly member Christina Garcia, the one who authored this bill, okay, said the legislation was meant to help, get this, climate change and sea level rise. Okay, because, grandma might emit too much carbon dioxide as she's laying in her casket, okay? Oh my God, it could affect the sea too. As Miss Garcia continues, by giving California residents an alternative method of final disposition that won't contribute emissions into our atmosphere. Okay? Really. We need to compost grandma to protect the earth. This is California, guys. Okay. There's a company that's based out of Washington. It's called Recompose. All right. And they are planning on building a facility in California. This law goes into effect in 2027. They already have a facility up in Washington State to do this. They're planning on building a facility in California to do this. Okay. I want to give you, according to their website, what they require of their employees to work in a site, mind you, that takes human remains, composts them over a course, they say, about 30 days, and then puts it into the soil. In California, it'll only be allowed in the topsoil, because you're digging so much further when you're planting your garden. Okay? But according to Recompose's website, when they're hiring people, the only people that they want working for them are this. Employees must advocate for climate healing, soil health, and environmental justice. They must be anti-racist and committed to advocating for and protecting the rights of people of color, religious minorities, and undocumented people, as well as engage with the work of queer feminist practices of inclusion and equity. Up. How many discriminatory comments can you put in that one? I mean, it's, Christ. They plan on opening this facility in 2027 after AB 351 takes effect. Okay. The Catholic Church has already said no. All right. You think most religious organizations would say no. My question is this. We now have King Charles, who's a firm believer in the World Economic Forum, right? And save the planet and everything. It's a damn good thing that the Queen has a crypt that they put all the royals in, because otherwise he would probably be recomposting his mother, the Queen, to put out in the flower beds at Windsor Castle. Yeah. This is the new reality, guys. All right. When your life is over, you can continue to contribute to your family's eating. Just put grandma in the garden. If it wasn't true, I can't even fathom this, but yeah, that's what we got. Cremate your family members and grow your tomatoes so you can eat grandma for dinner tonight. Have a good afternoon. We'll see you after the Fed meeting. Pinball out.